Namaste. So today we're going to focus on the feet. And when we focus on the feet, we're going to really feel how the feet balance us and how the feet connect within the whole body. And because we're never, just one body part, of course. Sometimes just really trying to bring attention to that body part then really helps us feel into how that connects with the rest of the body, what that offers to the body. So let's begin. So for the first place, we will just lay down and extend the legs. And if you've got a little something in your lower back, you don't have to extend the legs all the way out. But if you're able to extend them all the way out, extend them all the way out. So I'll show you different ways to do this. And so just feel the feet as you flex them and extend them. And notice what else moves in your body when you do this. So you flex the feet. It engages your legs in a certain way. Maybe you feel your abdominals really connect. And then extend through the toes and just notice how that changes the hips, the lower back a little bit. And then see if you can just do a little heel rock where you connect into rocking through the heels all the way. And then there's a relationship between the heels and the sit bones, the back of the sacrum and the shoulder blades, and then the shoulder blades to the head. So think of it as three triangles in the body. And this is a great way to notice where your tension is. And if it's not easeful, then it means you're trying too hard. So you might need to slow it down. But this is called the heel rock, and it's a basic warm-up in a practice that I do called Vartinia Fundamentals, which I've used a bit in teaching yoga, but it's just noticing your feet in this. Can you have action in the heels, but have the feet just respond to that action without actually causing a bit of tension in the feet? And then just let that go. And if you needed to have the knees bent, you could have just pushed your feet like so and get some of the same action. But just notice after we did this, what's happening in your feet. Do they feel like you've moved them, or can you feel anything in particular? Just noticing the sensations. And then we're going to slide that right heel up, press the foot down, and slide it back. And then with the other leg, slide it up. So you're trying to feel that heel bone to the sit bone connection. And then you can press the foot in when you get there. And then slowly slide it back. And then slide it up. And slide it back. And a lot of these positions we do on the floor, we call them sutta, which means lying down. But often we can press the feet into the wall and feel like we're standing and work on poses from that angle to really engage the balance so you're not having balance. So you basically have more body to the floor. So then slowly slide the right foot up, and now slide the left foot up. And then just do a little bit of press into the feet. You lift the pelvis off a little bit, press down, just press into the feet. See if you can feel how the feet connect into that sit bone. So it actually starts to engage those hamstrings. And slowly bring the pelvis down. And again, press into those feet. Just a tiny lift, and then bring the pelvis down. I'm going to scoot down a little bit. Now you're going to just do a little bridge warm up. So we've got the hands, palms down, press into the feet, lengthen all the way up. See if you can feel your feet all the way through the palms of your hands. Maybe you can't, maybe there's a little bit of cut offness there, that's okay. Just notice where you feel the feet. And then as you roll down the spine and come back down, just notice if perhaps your heart's beating a little bit faster. So there's a little bit of a warm up here. So you start the action by pressing the feet, lifting the pelvis. It's like a wave, and then naturally the arms come over, and then you start to roll down as the arms come down, and the pelvis comes back onto the mat. So we'll do a few cycles of this. Inhale, pressing the feet. Exhale, bringing it down. Inhale, pressing the feet, allowing the arms to come up. And exhale, down. One more. Inhale, roll up. Now stay here and see if you can really press into that left foot and extend that right foot parallel with the thigh there. So you really have to work and find a balance there. Then bring that foot back and press into the right foot and extend the left leg through the heel. Trying to keep the pelvis level, and then bend it back and then roll down again. A couple of breaths there. We'll do that again. So we'll inhale, press the feet, arms come overhead, then press into the left foot, extend through the right leg. Bring that foot back down, press into the right foot, extend through the left leg and the heel. Bring that in and roll down. And then you can keep your hands here or you can put them under your head. We'll bend the knees in to do our abdominal work. Now you're really going to press through the feet. You're going to really try to feel how the feet open here. And then bring the knees in, feet down. So imagine yourself as opening the feet up to the ceiling, like they can be a little bit lower if you don't have that range of motion. But just imagining the whole bottom of the foot just opening up to the ceiling. And bend the knees in, feet on the floor. Inhale, knees into the chest, extend through the feet, opening those feet up to the ceiling. Exhale, bend the knees in, feet down. We'll do a couple more. Inhale, bend the knees up. Really open those feet up to the sky. So you might need to press through the big toe mound area more to keep the outer foot from sickling, which means it's going up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bend the knees in. And then inhale, stand up, exhale, and down. And then drop the knees and just roll over. Before we do any more, I want to just have a brief moment where we're just going to do a soft little roll around the toes. So I'm starting with my pinky toe and I'm just kind of going in circles with it. And then I'm moving on to the next toe. Think of this little piggy went to market, right? Crazy old thing. Because we don't call them ring like we do our fingers, ring toes. And then go to the middle toe. Again, if you like this, ouch. And then go to the toe next to the big toe. And then go to the big toe and circle it around. And then one of the nice things is taking the fingers between the toes. I'll move this way. So you can take the fingers to the toe, through the toes, and then you just stretch the toes one way and stretch them the other. So then you can get more into that ankle action as well, but also moving through the toes. And then if you feel like it, you can do just a little bit more massage down the foot. And some of us have built calluses on our feet, and some people have very sensitive feet. So the touch on your foot needs to be what works for you. Do you want to press it, or is it a light stroke, or do you want to tap it? So just warming it up. So if that works for you, you can tap the foot. And then bring in the other foot, starting with pinky toe. You can, hold the leg however it works for you. A couple of circles one direction, a couple of circles the other. Then the next toe. Then the middle toe. And of course, you can get a foot massage, you can get reflexology on your feet, and then the big toe. So there's all kinds of modalities that focus on the feet. And then take your fingers through the toes so that you can flex them, extend them, move the toes around. You can even circle them with your fingers. And then you can give a bit of massage to that foot, however you like the pressure. And then if you like to tap, you can tap that foot. And then come onto your knees, and we'll tuck the toes under, and we'll slowly bring the sit bones back to the heels to stretch out those toes. And sometimes you have to use your fingers to try to bring the toes to the floor, and the pinky toe may not quite get there. Everybody has slightly different sized and shaped feet and different insteps. And come up to all four, and then bring the feet together, knees wide, and slowly bring the sit bones towards the heels here. This is when you need to press the tops of your feet into the floor if you can. And then inhale up, tuck the toes under, press the sit bones back, really pressing through those heels. And inhale up to all fours. Place the tops of the feet down, big toes together, knees wide. Inhale, coming up. Tuck the toes under again, bringing the knees parallel. Coming back. So you're getting an instep stretch here, also the toes and the balls of the feet. And then inhale up, and again, big toes together, knees wide. And then come up to all fours again. And then you might need to bring the hands a little forward or the knees a little further back for a downward dog. So you'll tuck the toes under and press into downward dog. And then just start walking the feet here. And just see what you notice, how as you move your feet, how does that connect into your leg. And then come up onto the balls of the feet. lift the thighs, and then slowly bring the heels towards the floor. And then just slowly come into plank and see how your feet in this version of plank support you. And then again, go into either big toes together, knees wide, or you can keep the toes here to stretch. It just depends on what your feet are feeling like they need. So the two options are big toes together, knees wide, or the toes tucked under and the sit bones back to the heel. And then inhale, come up again. You might move your hands or your knees a little bit behind or in front of the shoulders to come into a long, spacious downward facing dog. And then come into plank with your feet. And then we're just going to roll to the tops of the feet if you can to come to upward facing dog. See if you can really feel the feet here. And then bring the knees down and either tuck the toes or come into big toes together, knees wide. And then we'll cycle through that one more time, so do it as it suits you. Come into downward facing dog. Then come into plank. Then roll your feet over to upward facing dog. And then either big toes together, knees wide, or just rolling back with the toes tucked under. Come up into all fours. Tuck the toes under into downward dog. And then slowly walk the feet and feel the feet as you're walking them to the hands. When does your heel come down? Maybe you need to lift up on the fingertips as the feet come towards the hands. And then just have a little bend in the knees and slowly roll up the spine. So now come into standing in wide leg Tadasana or hip width Tadasana. And then just, take some notice about your feet. That light is kind of making me funny looking, so I'm gonna shift over. And just notice what you notice in the feet. And then just notice what's going on in the legs, the pelvis, the rib cage, shoulder girdle, the neck, the head. Can you feel a relationship between your feet all the way up to your head? Maybe not, maybe there's places that feel a little bit stiff. Or that you don't have a lot of sensation in. There's no right or wrong, it's just noticing. Now just do a little bit of rocking to the heels, rock into the toes, rock into the heels. Just notice how this impacts you, Is it a little bit frightening? Do you need to soften your knees, which you can, of course. You feel like you might fall over? Or does one way feel like, oh, this is how I am most of the time? Am I pitched forward a little bit in the front of my foot, or am I pitched back in the back of my heel? And we all have little subtle things we do like that, which is just do a little bit of rocking and notice what you notice. And then see if you can just slow that rocking down. Make it much more subtler and see what happens. you return to more or less neutral. You feel all of your feet. What part of your foot is into the ground, what part is not. And then here I want you to soften the knees, because when we roll the ankles out and in, I don't want you to cause problems to your knees. So now do a similar motion of rolling out, rolling in. In my case, it brings my knees together or it brings my knees out. Just notice what happens. And then see if you can slowly make that movement smaller and smaller at the same time. You can still keep softness in the knees, but see if you can start to straighten the legs. And then see if you can find where that comes to rest or stillness or still point. And then just notice what you notice. How are your feet impacting your legs and your pelvis and your rib cage and your shoulder and your head and neck? And then see if you can lift your toes off where it engages your heel and the ball of your foot. And by doing that, I think it also engages the legs more. And then see if you can just keep that engagement but soften the toes. And then slowly bring the arms overhead. Now what happens to your feet? Can you feel length between the feet and the fingertips? Or is there some way where the alignment's a little off? I mean, I always notice, okay, that right heel doesn't want to press in as much as the left heel, so that's a little bit of my pattern. And then exhale the arms down. Inhale the arms up. Noticing the feet. Exhale down. 2 more times. Inhale the arms up. Noticing the feet. Exhale down. 1 more. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the arms down. So now we're just going to stand on, I'm on the left foot, but you can be on the right foot if you want to be mirror image. And just bring the other foot to the ankle, starting there. You can have hands on the hips. If you want to bring it up just a little bit higher, you can. I mean, I jumped up to the thigh, but you can stay on the calf muscle. See if you can find your balance here. You can bring the hands in prayer. If you'd like to go further, they can go over your head. Release the arms down and the foot down and come back into Tadasana. Stand on the opposite foot. In my case, it's the right. It might be your left. And first, just bring that foot low to the ankle. And if this feels challenging enough, you can stay there. And you know, you can yourself play with this a few times a day if balance on one foot is a challenge for you. And then if you want to bring it up higher, you can. And then if you're feeling the balance, hands can come into prayer. Overhead, if that feels right at the moment, or it can just stay on your hip. Bring the arms down and bring that foot down. And then we're going to go into a few of the traditional standing poses beyond tree, and we will start them in the feet, and we'll play with the feet in these poses. So today we're going to step wide so you can feel how you step, and you can go through your feet as you step, keeping those knees soft. And then I'll be mirror image. We'll do triangle pose with some awareness on the feet. So you're going to take that left foot, come up to your toes, slightly pivot them so that you can really extend from the ball of the foot into that left heel. Then take the other foot, it's going to be heel, and really extend through that foot to the ball of the foot, and then soften the toes down. So you don't want to grip with the toes. Just notice if you're gripping. Actually, what we can do right now is grip your toes, release them, grip them, release them, grip them, release them, and then see if you can feel how the feet help engage into the legs. And then you can inhale the arms up, reach as far as it goes, wherever you're comfortable today. And then either the hand on the thigh or the shin, and the top arm up. A few breaths there. Continue to focus on how the feet support the pose, and how do the feet give feedback to the rest of the body. And then inhale, slowly come up. Bring the arms down, and then pivot the feet into parallel. You can have some softness in the knees here. And then we'll focus on that right foot, coming up to those toes, and then just a slight diagonal, really extend into that heel. So you're really coming into that stability in that foot. And then the opposite foot is heel, extend to the ball of the foot, and the toes down. And since we did it on the other side, we might as well grip through the toes, release them, grip through the toes, release them, grip through the toes, release them, and then inhale the arms up to shoulder height, extend, extend, extend. See if you can really feel how the legs are engaged, because the feet support the legs and the pelvis and the shoulder girdle. And then the top arm is up. And then see if you can continue to feel the feet as the base of your pose. Inhale, slowly come up. Bring those feet wide, and then bring them back into Tadasana. And have a couple of breaths here, and just really notice what's happening in your feet. Is there a little more energy? Is there a lightness, or does it feel like there's movement in the feet, like maybe there's more space between the bones? I don't know. So we'll do another Urdhva. Inhale those arms overhead, really feeling that length from the feet to the fingertips. And exhale down, hands on hips, and just slowly bring those feet parallel. Now we'll do Warrior Two pose, and we'll feet up like we did in the last pose. So you're going to come up onto your toes on the back foot, so it's the left foot, and then really extend into the heel, slight diagonal. Then the right foot is heel to toe. And then we'll go into this. Oh, we'll do it again. Yeah, okay, I'm in a theme here. So really squeeze the toes again, and release. Grip those toes and release. Grip those toes and release. And then inhale the arms up shoulder height. And now bend deeply into that front leg, into the right leg. And feel how your feet support you there. Are your toes gripped? And then inhale, slowly come up. Bring the feet parallel. Go to the other side. So we'll take the left foot, come into those toes, and then really extend through that heel. Bring the opposite leg, heel through ball of foot toe. And then grip those toes, release. Grip those toes, release. Grip those toes, release. And then inhale the arms up and extend into warrior two pose. Really bend that front leg deeply. Notice how the feet are supporting you, connecting into the legs. Just notice your toes. Are you gripping your toes? And then inhale, slowly come up. Bring the feet parallel. And just start bringing them back into Tadasana. Couple of breaths here. And again, inhale the arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale down, hands on hips. Bring the feet out wide with the knees soft. And then we'll do Parsvottanasana this way. So take that left foot toe to heel. Really extend through the foot to that heel. Really bringing that heel rounded to the floor. And then the right foot heel to toe. And then we're gonna, I guess we better do what we did on the other side. So start to bend down, but now grip the toes, release. Grip the toes, release. Grip the toes, release. And then bring the forearm down. And you can either keep the top arm down, or straight up, or up and over, whatever's going to serve you today. But reflect back into the feet, what's going on. Are you gripping the toes? Are you really pressing into those heels, into the ball of the foot? And then slowly come up. Hands on hips, bring the feet parallel again. And I'm actually feeling the building of the heat in these poses, so there is something to this. So now with the right foot toe to heel, really extend into that heel. Left foot heel to toe. And then start to bend down and grip those toes. Release. Grip those toes. Release. Grip those toes. Release. Bring the forearm down. And the opposite arm can do whatever you did on the last side. Straight up, down, up and over. And then slowly come up, bringing the feet together. Come back into Tadasana and just take a moment again to just notice what's happening in your feet. Is it more sensation, more awareness? Does it bring more awareness into the rest of the body or not? Just a few questions to notice, because that's what yoga is great for, is waking up the body, noticing your sensations, noticing what feels like it works for your body in terms of poses. Because these poses cannot be absolutely fit to each and every body. They're different, they get adjusted. So we all look for good energy alignment in the body, but at the same time, we all have quirks. So we try to work with poses that work for us. Let's come into tucking the toes under and just bringing the heels here. Now, if you have trouble being on your knees this way, you can always put something under your knees. It's kind of nice, actually. So I always want you to be able to do what works for you. And we'll do a couple of camel poses to finish this sequence today. And we'll start with the toes tucked under. Now, if you know well, actually, we won't worry about props today. You can either put your hands on the back, like so, or you can just bring them on the sides of your hips and try to lift that chest. The nice thing about the feet bent like this, for me, it's easier to put my hands down. If you could do that, great. If you can't, you can just stay where you are. And then chin to chest, and then keep the toes tucked, and just bring the sit bones onto the heels. And if you know it's hard to go to the next stage, you can stay in this stage. Or if your feet are tired too, you can also come up and come to the top of the feet here. See if you can really press the top of the feet. And this is another thing that I see often is people's feet will go out or in. So you want to try as best as you can to still keep the ankles lifted so the heel is up. And then you can hands on hips or even just hands next to it if that works better for you. And really lift that chest. If you can bring the hands back, you're welcome. Or you can just stay here. But you can also bring the hands to the heels or the feet. Lift the chest up. Slowly come back up, chin to chest. And come down to sitting on the heels, or you can tuck the toes under, whichever works for you. And then just come into a little sitting pose and just bring the feet together a little bit away from you. And this is where I call it clam, that's right. You can either just stack the hands, maybe you can bring the head down, or maybe you have something nearby like a pillow. Just have the feet soft and resting on each other. And forehead to whatever you've got. Just going to go into that nice C curve after a couple of back bends. Slowly come up, and you can either do regular Shavasana, you can do feet up the wall, you can have a chair with your legs on it, whatever works for you, and just get yourself settled into whichever pose you choose to do for our little Shavasana. And as you settle into the pose, the first thing is to just become aware of your feet. What do you notice in your feet? What are the sensations? Are they warm? Are they cold? Are they tingly? And then just offer a bit of gratitude to your feet. Just thank your feet for all they have done for you. They helped you as a child learn to walk. Perhaps you became a runner or an athlete of some kind. feet would have been involved in that sport in some way. It certainly offered you support in standing, support in locomotion. Maybe sometime you can have a foot soak or a foot massage. Or perhaps walking barefoot on the grass or the beach. And let the feet speak to the rest of your body. And give thanks to the rest of your body for being connected into your feet. And then slowly begin to reawaken your body. Really beginning with some movement in your feet to awaken the rest of your body. Slowly bend the knees in, rolling to your side to come up to sitting in your own time. And may you take great pleasure in your feet. Offer it gratitude, and occasionally get a massage or have a good foot soak, whatever your pleasure is. Maybe you like getting a pedicure. But whatever works for you, give yourself that treat every now and then. Have a beautiful evening or day. Thanks for being with me, and namaste.